The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Hey, good God morning, people of God. You have tuned into Solutions Radio Show. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Wright.
And I'm Anita Smith.
And it's a pleasure that you guys are here. I thank God for you being here. As always, we know what the problems are. We know what we need to do to solve them. What we offer on this platform is solutions, dedicated acts of action that bring about true change, not just talked about change. And no excuses for excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges nowhere and monuments of nothing. Broadcast live from the WVTC radio and TV network. We thank God for this great opportunity. Hey, Miss Anita, how you doing? How was your week?
I'm fantastic. Been feeling good. The week was good. Everything has been a blessing. So, what about you?
You know what? I'm good. I'm excited about the radio show. I'm excited about the blessings that God is blessing us with. And it is really a great honor to be here. This whole process of being on the radio is such a beautiful thing. And I'm really thankful for those things. I am trying to get the show on the page.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Housekeeping first.
Yeah, we need to get it
because
can we get it on the page?
Go to Corey Wright or Anita L. Smith.
Right. Is it on? Everything is on because I'm not being able to share it on my page.
I copied you. I tagged you. I shared it.
So it's on my page.
Check your feed. Yeah.
Because before I go forward, because this is such a powerful show, I don't want to not have the people in here. And it's like.
And you all be sure to comment, share, like. Today's show is Dating Over 50. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that this topic is near and dear to their heart. They've asked us to talk about this. So we are getting ready to really share some amazing things today, some powerful stuff regarding dating over 50. You know, it's not easy. And as you get older,
it's not
even more challenging, more nuances and things to think about. So we excited to get into this message today.
And I'm ready. I'm trying to get it, and I want to get into it, but I cannot find it on my page. That is okay. Because it has not. Because so many people on my page.
See, this is what happens when you over 50. You know, this technology.
No, it ain't that. It's just it ain't popping up. Let me see if I can find it anywhere. I'm sorry about that. I really do apologize for that. But I can't find it on the news feed. Okay.
Go to the station page.
I'm on the station page. Let me just.
You can just tag at WVTC from your page, and the link will come up.
Okay. All right.
On your page, like when you're gonna make a post.
Yeah, but to share it on my page for them to see it. That's the thing, because I normally be able to save it from WVTC network, but it's not showing on my page. Okay, the new solutions, okay, because I don't want to give this information, and I do apologize for the delay. I'm just trying to. Is it on your page?
I believe so.
Let's take a look on your page, because on your page, then I will share from your page.
I tagged you on mine.
Okay.
So let's see.
Yeah, because that's
on my story.
That is the thing.
And Yep, it's on there.
where you can see the live?
Well, you guys gotta click the WVTC Gospel Radio, and then I guess they can get to it from their website.
Okay. All right.
So where it says listen now.
Yeah, because I don't see it.
Well, let's just get into
It
it.
says start soon. Okay. We'll start. I'm unfortunately, if you try to follow me on my page, you can't see it on my page, and I can't get it to you on my page. That is able to allow me to see it. For that, I apologize because
Well, we'll figure it out, and we'll definitely post the link. Either we'll figure it out during the show, or we'll definitely post it afterwards.
okay.
But you all can also go to wvtc.com and access the link from the site.
No, that's not coming up from the site.
Well, I don't think that's anything we can do about that right now.
Okay, well, we'll just do the show. I'm just unfortunately, a lot of people that was looking forward to the show can't see it live, and that's just so unfortunate. That is, but we'll get started. Well, let's talk about dating after 50. Where is that?
From the WVTC Gospel Radio Network page, you just click their header. It says live.
Okay.
So we'll just
All right.
pick it
There
up
we
from
go.
the WVTC.
There we go.
You got it.
There we go. Now we can do it that way. All right, people. Now y'all can see it. I am ready to go. And there we go. So now we can see it. Everybody can see it. That is okay. Now that is it. Boy, you smart.
I'm good for something, y'all.
Now you are definitely smart. So let's get into it. What dating over 50? This is one of the greatest topics because dating over 50, so many dynamics. And let me tell you where when I first thought about this show, where it came from. I wanted to date, I'm 51, and we all have our own particular what we think love is going to be, who we're going to be with. Sometimes we think we hear from God. Sometimes, we want to be settled down. We want to be happy. So I was always under the notion that I was going to end up with a certain person. And sometimes you want a person so bad that you have God here and you think God is telling you this. So I said, well, let me get on a couple of dating sites. And I was invited to a dating site for 50 and above. And this dating site had a lot of professional women on there, and they had maybe 1 or 2 men on there. And it was basically like they were asking questions, and you can put your number up there, your email, whatever. In case somebody might be interested, they can reach you personally. A lot of men don't put their number up there because they're afraid of women eating them up, texting them, whatever, because they're eating them up. So the question was posed in this group. How do you view a relationship? And you had a lot of people saying, a lot of men, few men, 50-50. Some women saying that I shouldn't have to bring anything to the table, that a man should provide everything for the table, and all of those things. And some people were saying, well, I am the table. Some ladies say, I am the table. So I said something so profound that I didn't even know it was going to be this profound, or it was going
to be received that way.
Yeah, I had no clue. I said, it's not what you bring to the table or what I bring to the table. Is what is both of us looking at the table and seeing what's missing and working together to put that on the table. And everybody just went crazy. Calls after calls, inbox, everybody was like, I've never heard a man say that.
Because that's a very collaborative thought.
Because we don't know what each other is missing when we get together.
Right. A lot of people are looking for a teammate.
Right.
You know, they want somebody who they can spend that time with. And that approach and what you said is very, very collaborative.
Wow.
It's thinking about how can we come together as one to accomplish, you know, what needs to be done to help you be your best, help me be my best. That's, to me, that's the ultimate love. That's what love is for me. If I can look at somebody and say, I want to do everything I can to help this person be the best that they can be. And what do I have to offer to help what they need, and vice versa. It's not what can I get out of them, or you know what I mean? It's not about that thought process. It's about what can I do to help this person be the absolute best they can be. That's love.
And not just that, what are people missing? Some people have been mistreated. They haven't been loved right. They haven't been encouraged right.
Yeah.
They're go-getters by nature. They're going to go get the bag. They got the nice house. They got the, but some people have been mistreated, been hurt, been violated in life. And sometimes they need more attention.
Right. I read this week that it's like 80-something% or a very, very high percentage of men that have gone an extended amount of time without ever having a hug.
Wow.
And sometimes people just need the simple things. Just a hug, just a touch.
I didn't went a long time without having a hug.
Yeah, that's tough. It's real. It's not just you. I'm
you ain't gonna offer me a hug.
So but no, it's like some people don't even have a mate to just, you know, just a simple touch, you know, and that can be life changing.
Go ahead.
See, don't have me up in here. Be careful what you ask for.
You know, I agree. Is you know, but sometimes though, and that's what we're gonna talk about, the problems, the main problems and the benefits of dating people, because unfortunately, dating after you're 50, you get sometimes when it comes to people, you get what's left. You get the residuals of what they've been through. You get the residuals of what has happened.
That sounds so sad.
And I don't mean it to sound that way, but it's the truth, because you know, most people, including myself, and we be honest, I thought I would be further than I am today.
Yeah, I thought I would be one of the ones sharing those, you know, 25-year wedding anniversary. You know, I thought that's where I would be right now.
And we good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We bad looking either.
Right.
Make good income.
And here we are, but we're single, we're dating, and we're 50. We're in our 50s. So here it is. So this show, I had to really research, because you know, it's all in my wheelhouse.
Well, you want to start? Want me to start?
No, you start. Let's talk about some of the challenges.
Okay, to me, and this is what I studied. Some of the main problems after 50 is the pool of potential partners. It is just, listen, let me just be honest, and let me just say this. If you got a good man or a woman that's loving you and is treating you right, and you doing wrong, or you playing games, or you even got a good man or woman interested in you and you want to play games, you are one of the foolish people I ever met in my life, because the pool is not as big as the TV make it. The pool is not as big. I'm talking about good, God-fearing, sincere people. You playing games.
Yeah, it's not an Olympic-sized swimming pool out here.
It ain't even a park.
We talk about that little kiddie pool, the little blue pool that be in your backyard on your deck. That's kind of where we're at.
Like, I'm just being honest, because, you know, you're looking at a younger age compared to, you know, a younger age often leads to difficult finding compatibility due to factors: established lifestyle, smaller social circles, increased emotional baggage, past relationships, and making it hard to connect. You know, there are many challenges that may be major changes to new partners.
Yeah, and so we, being over 50, a lot of us are divorced. Some of us are widowed, and some of us have never been married. But when you lose a spouse or when you divorce, your social circle becomes small. It's almost like you have to divide the friendships. Some of the friends go with him and some go with her, and some, and then some of the things you guys did together you aren't doing anymore. Even some people leave their church homes, after they get a divorce.
That's right.
And these are people that they're used to being around and fellowshipping with and seeing. And so those circles kind of, die down. A lot of times if you lose a spouse, sometimes you don't stay as connected to that spouse's family and circle of friends and network. And people try to support you initially, but then slowly but surely people kind of fall by the wayside, after the loss of a spouse. So you tend to have to figure out ways to socially engage. And the older you get, sometimes the harder it is to try new things and new places and go, places and do activities by yourself.
There was a lady that couldn't figure out why she was single. And very beautiful lady. I work with her at the airport. And she said to me, I don't understand why I'm single. But when I was to take her out for a lunch, I walk in her house, she got pictures of her husband that passed.
Mm-hmm.
And all she wanted to talk about was how great this man was. Mm-hmm. And everything he did. And I'm like, well, if you're trying to marry somebody, get to know somebody, do you think it's okay to have all these pictures around of your husband that passed? And she was like, well, this is the life we build, and somebody just have to accept that because I'm always looking for that standard. I'm like, wait a minute. And you wonder why you're single. Now, if your husband passed, do you think it is right to have all those pictures and memories up for a new guy to come in?
No, I think it's okay as you're going through your grieving process and you're working through the healing, but you should not be engaged in dating when you're not ready. And so she just clearly wasn't ready. She had a desire to want to have some companionship, but she wasn't quite ready to bring in someone new. Because in order to bring in someone new, you have to make room and space. It's not that you're going to ever forget your spouse. Mm-hmm. And that spouse and the things that you all experience, especially in death, is a big part of who you are. Because you all didn't break up. Somebody passed away.
Yeah.
But you have to make room. And sometimes, putting those photos away, maybe you can keep something small, in memory of that person. But just to invite someone else into a space where it's all about your other significant other, then I don't think that she was ready. And that's why she probably wasn't as successful in the process.
A lot of people said when I was doing the show that the dating pool is so small that I'm going to probably just be single the rest of my life. A lot of people feel this way. I believe the dating pool is smaller when it comes for women.
Well, that's one of the things that people have to overcome. And it really depends on your personality, your character, your confidence that you have in yourself, and the willingness to be able to shift the way you think. You got to sometimes twist the kaleidoscope because maybe,
that's good.
The pool was, smaller, but you have the choice to broaden it.
That's good. Shift the kaleidoscope.
Shift the kaleidoscope. Because good. You might need to maybe if, I was very big on not dating somebody that was older than me. That was an absolute no, for me, a hard no.
Why?
You had to be my age or within, 2 to 3 years down or 2 to 3 years up. But I've changed that because you got to take off some of these external parameters because you put yourself in a box. You might meet a compatible mate and they may be younger or they may be older. So you have to broaden the scope of your mind and say, you know what, be a little more open because that's how you broaden the pool. I don't want somebody who smokes or I don't want somebody, all frivolous things that has nothing to do with how a person can love you and treat you and contribute to your life and happiness. So take away, I think as you get older, you have to, yes, be selective. And I think people over 50 are much more selective, which could be a challenge because you don't, need necessarily somebody in your life as far as your financial stability. There's no idea of, necessarily looking for someone for marriage so you can settle down and start a family, though, that where you would find in more of the younger ages. So as you get older, I think we just have to shift a little bit in our thinking, and we would see that the pool, we can begin to broaden that.
For me personally, I am tired of dating.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm just going to be honest. I would, what? When I was on that site and I knew that somebody would be like, my wife is in there. Like, I believe my wife is in there. I have no doubt about that. Not just because of what I want, but there are so many professional, logical women who are not petty in the sense of, you have to fight me to get to my heart. I've made it. I had a conversation with a very beautiful soul that I literally melted in because I had a chance to be me without any ramifications from where she's been at or where I've been at. I'm just me. Let me be the night. Let's have a conversation. It's peaceful.
That's another big key. The individuality. People dating over 50 tend to allow you to be who you are.
Only if they're out of their problems. Only if they're out of their problems. Because
I agree.
We had a discussion, whereas I had a discussion with a lady that was not Black.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Caucasian lady that was interested in me from the dating site.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something that was so powerful to me that I'll share it. She said, well, how do you feel about interracial marriages? I said, well, you have a right to love who you love. And she says, a lot of Black women are mad at Black men for going to other women, other race of women. But
not true.
And I said, no, that's some of them will be. But she said, here is the problem with that notion, is that too many of the Black women want men in a certain place opposed to going to a certain place. She said that most relationships are when you catch the person. Most people want to catch him in the destination. They don't want to catch him in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
My notion is, it's not where it's not so much where you end up at, but let me help you get there.
What did you think about what she was saying?
I thought it was true because so many women fight the person or their mate, and men too, not just men, not just women, on the journey. Like there's all this work needs to be done for us to get there. But instead of us getting there and having this conversation, we having it here where ain't nothing accomplished. Yeah. And I give her kudos for what she said, because it took a lot to say it to me.
I agree with that part of it, but I don't agree with the overarching statement that Black women, have a problem with interracial relationships, because I'm not, and nobody that I know, and which is a lot of people, and all the relationships and the people that I know, first of all, the majority of the Black men are with Black women. That's number one.
Statistics show it. I got it.
And then, so her statement is inherently incorrect just because that's not even a factual number or ideology. But Black women, if I had to, as a Black woman, speak on this, I think that we are just wanting our compatible match. We're just wanting, as Black women, to have respect, and we're not asking for much.
One of the things though that means a lot to people is where you catch them, because as I elevate, if I gave you a chance while I was on the journey, you cannot have a chance with me at the destination. I'm sorry. Like right now, there are people that I wanted to love and give a chance to. Now there is no possibility of that, because it's like, it's not where you catch a person. A lot of times we don't want the work. Like 3 people I stay away from in the New Year's. Just being honest.
Mhm.
People that don't want to work with me because they just want me to do all the work, then they reap the benefits. Let me jump in when everything is rolling. People that talk about me behind my back, I don't want anything to do with you because real friendship is actually behind my back.
Yeah.
And the third one is where you want to go into my life. I stay away from people who want to keep me near just to use me later.
Mm.
You can't keep me near to use me later. You can't keep me because a lot of people see your potential. The devil's not fighting you for what you did. The devil fights you what you will do and what you will do because God ordained for your life. He's fighting you for that. So those are people I away from because, listen, you got the opportunity to do me right, but when you got the opportunity to do me right, you don't. Then, again, don't keep me near. Those are three people I can't, because when I give you the opportunity and you don't take it, don't look for it later. One of the people I don't hate, love for them, that's a bad word, but just like it's the people that I offer something to and they say no, but then say, okay, let me get it later. Like they're, let me get a piece of that, man. No, I don't want to. And then later, all right, man, hey, let me get that. But you say I can have a piece. Yeah, but you turned it down.
I don't want to, I just feel like just the first thing you said, I don't want to put myself in a box as far as where I am on my journey and when I meet someone. I don't even want to have that kind of pressure on myself because I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly elevating. I am a hustler and I'm going to get it. So whether I meet you now or I meet you later, I don't want to say, well, I don't even want to think of my success as a destination. My success is the journey because I'm going to continually grow.
Oh, that's powerful. My success is the journey. Okay, I just thought
So
that.
it's like at any point in time, I don't want to put any pressure on myself as to when I meet someone. It could be now, it could be this year, it can be 5 years from now, but it has to make sense. It has to fit.
What she made me look at is, which is my next two poets about established lifestyles and emotional baggage, is that when it comes to dating after 50, I have to take my hormones, I have to take my feelings out of it, and I have to do everything on my logic. Can I build with this person? Am I going to be happy? Because people at 50s often have established lifestyles. They don't have the time. One of the things that I've noticed about dating at 50, I don't meet many women that have time. And unfortunately, they had to be that everything for their family because there wasn't no men there. Mm-hmm. They had to take care. Then don't let some of them have health issues, which is another thing. Dating after 50, somebody health issues. They don't have time. So they don't have time. So, we got to look at that. And in fact, because when a person ain't got time for me, I respect it, but then I'm good. I leave you alone, but because you don't have time. Because I've met a lot of great women that just don't have time. They just don't have time.
I have people tell me that sometimes, and I was like, hold up, don't put that off on me, because you work just like I work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You have responsibilities just like I have responsibilities. So it's not a matter of what I'm doing or how busy I am, so to speak. Because I'm a huge believer in people make time for what they want to make time for. They make time for what's important to them. So it's harder dating over 50 because most people over 50 are in the position of being able to take their time. They don't have to rush.
That's right.
Because the dynamics are different and the priorities are different. So if I can take my time getting to know someone, I don't feel like I have to see you every single day, every single week, or talk to you every single night for us to have a successful relationship or for us to be able to grow or build something significant. And a lot of times, especially with divorced people and people that are widowed, that's another set of challenges where it takes them longer to connect. However, statistics show that when you do make a connection over 50, those tend to be lasting relationships.
That's true.
So it's about, you have to have a little more patience in this age range and when you're dating.
I agree, but I agree that what God sends us is not going to wait for us to have time for it.
If God sent it to you, you don't have to worry about time.
No, because just like Moses, remember, Moses fulfilled it. Moses was supposed to go over the promised land. A lot of people don't, and this is where this
He
is
got there.
Yeah, no, he didn't go. He just seen it.
Okay.
Joshua went over.
Yeah.
Moses, because Moses, he told Moses to speak to the rock, but Moses struck the rock. And God was like, you can look over to the promised land, but you can't go over there. You have to come to the mountain and die. Two things that people don't get, and I studied this last night, and I sent one of the messages to some people. I know you probably got the message, is that God does not he honors covenant, but he don't put them together. The one he put together, he don't honor. Like if you get married and you're not married to a person because God says that spiritually you're not married, it's not honor. You're actually you're actually being honored by the devil because it's not of God. So a lot of people who think you've been married 3-4 times, if it's not God's will, you were never married because he doesn't even recognize that. He doesn't recognize that marriage. Second of all, we can forfeit God's blessings because we got to understand, like one person told me, like, listen, I'm too busy doing me. Okay, what if God taking you doing you? What difference would it make?
Wait, somebody told you that?
Somebody said, I'm too busy doing me. I think that's good. What if God take you doing you? Like people, because you got to remember, when we get into this term, we're going to get into a little bit later in the show, validation syndrome. We're going to see how the devil wants you to keep validating what you're doing until a point where you look up and you don't have the time to find that. You don't have the time. Some people are older now in their 70s, got the bag, got the house, got the money, and got nobody because they were chasing the bag. When I look at that, we want to tell God to give us what we want God to give us on our timing, and it doesn't work that way. Some people had their husband. Some people had their wife. Some people had great blessings, but they were too busy on what they want and study what God's want. And then they look up and say, well, why am I doing this? Trust me. Yeah.
There's also another aspect to that, an impact on dating over 50 as it relates to your past experiences. Relationships, the history that you have really matter because older adults bring a wealth of life experience into their new relationships. And studies show that individuals with positive past relationship experience tend to navigate new relationships a lot better versus if you had unresolved trauma or grief, then you're going to struggle in those relationships. And the interesting part about that is we're talking about dating over 50, but that actually to me is dating at any age.
That's good. Wow.
So you have to look at what is the dynamic of my past experience. If you had a successful, loving, kind, then that's all you know. You're going to be more open when you meet a person. But if you come through trauma, sadness, grief, you was cheated on, lied to, kicked to the curb, then that's what you're going to carry forward. So one of the things we have to make sure is that we are over 50 are taking care of our emotional health. We are taking care of our physical health and our mental health because all of that plays a part. You can't take trauma into another relationship because you going through something does not mean you get to infect somebody else's life like a cancerous plague.
That's powerful because a lot of people don't know they're sick.
Exactly. So you need to self-assess. Coming out of those old relationships, before you get into a new relationship, talk to a therapist. You might just need a couple check-ins, even if it's just one hour. Talk to somebody that's outside of your circle who is not going to judge you one way or another, and just kind of self-assess and see where you are. Just like you go to the doctor. We go annually? We're supposed to do our checkups. You have to include your mental health, your spiritual health, your financial health. You just need to look at all aspects of your life to say, am I ready? And if you're not, that's okay. You don't have to rush, but be in the waiting period, be doing the work.
And I'm a big advocate of that. You're absolutely right. And one good thing about the physical, you want somebody in shape, you want somebody that's doing good. The change of the women 50 today, there it's not about physical appearance, but the women of 50 today look good.
We look good.
They look good. I know a couple of 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds that will make a 20-year-old look like, oh, please. So, you know, you have a lot of women that's over 50 that's in great shape, look good. So I understand when they put a demand on a man to get in shape. So I think that's a lot.
I think this is a movement that I'm seeing in the African American community in the older age range, where people are getting it together. There is more information out there than ever about exercising, eating healthy, and more people are getting on that bandwagon, which is a very positive place to be. The only thing that I caution is make sure you're doing it for yourself and not somebody else. You know, you have to have that internal motivation and internal love of self, because you can't try to, you know, turn yourself into a pretzel to please somebody else and then expect them to validate you, which we're going to talk about that a little bit later, you know. But,
and, you know, also another thing is the social circles. You know, a lot of times social circles keep people from dating certain people after 50, because you have some people who have high-powered friends and other people who have common friends, and they're afraid of bringing these people around their friends, or they're afraid, or you have people that's high-powered friends, whereas they're like, okay, this is the lifestyle I lived before you met me. I'm not giving up my friends, and I'm not going to invite my friends into your life. Because one of the things that has hindered a lot of people in the age of dating over 50 is people who don't want their spouse or a significant other in their social circle, because they're afraid that they will infect their social circle and take it away, because before they met that other person, that's all they had was their social circle. That's all they had was their friends. You know, one of the things about 50 is the friendships are different, according to a leading therapist, is because it's more like a soulmate type of friendship. Whereas my best friend could be a man, could be a woman. I had my best friend, God rest his soul, was a woman. You know, you have best friends, and this is the circle that kept me together when nobody was there. So you want me to give that away, or you want to impute in that? No, I can't allow that. That keeps a lot of people from dating.
I think for me, I want that compatibility.
Okay.
So I would rather have someone who has similar interests that I can bring into that circle, versus saying the separateness of it. I do want to respect individuality, and I do believe there's a healthiness in us spending some time apart. You have some of your friends, I have my friends, and those two things should never come together. There is a certain place for that, you know, just like you want to spend time together. But then I do believe also there's some times we need to, you know, spend apart, you know. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to date somebody who didn't want to take me anywhere, or didn't want to, you know, they're going and having activities. I can't come around your friends. And I wouldn't want to do that to somebody else, because I don't think that anybody is more than or less than anybody else.
Okay.
My thing would be, are you interested in that thing that we're doing within that social circle? Like, let's just say, if it's a book club or something. Do you like reading? Do you enjoy sitting around talking about the books? If you don't, and you just gonna come and sit there like a sourpuss, then no, stay at home. But if you enjoy reading and you want to participate, even though you didn't know these people before you met me, it's okay. You know, but if you have that mindset, pick somebody who enjoys the same things as you.
Well, you know, I was dating a young lady who was very, very shapely. And so when my friends had something, I was a little
apprehensive
about bringing her, because when she put her outfit on, she walked past. I know them, so I look at them, and every eyes went down. You know, look down, and it's like, oh, you know. So it could be that, or I've been with a person of high society, and when I meet her friends, she was trying to explain everything to me until I opened my mouth, and she realized, hey, I'm just as intelligent as you or them, or more intelligent. So it does. Circles do create a kind of.
I'm so down to earth.
Yeah.
That whether it from the janitor's office to the executive's office, to me, I don't see the difference. I wouldn't want to do that to anybody. You don't have to be able to speak a certain kind of way to come around me or my friends. I mean, if you run around talking about I ain't got no weapon, I'm probably not gonna be with you anyway.
How you know what I mean? Album.
But to me, those are some of the trivial things that can keep you single.
My main thing is this. This is my main problem, and we go to the pros of dating after 50. My main problem with dating is people's emotional baggage. Like I there are people who are, and listen, you're in survival mode, you're in a bad place. All you want to do is to get out of your bad place, because there are some people are not warm. They're not warm people. They're fighting the people that God sent to help them fight. It's like you're drowning and I'm trying to jump in there and swim because I'm an Olympic swimmer. But then when I get in there, you're fighting me with the water while I'm drowning with you. And I think emotional baggage is a thing, because people feel like I got to fight with you to get to your heart. Most people don't look at their problems and like, listen, that person never did that. Whatever boundaries you created in your life was created because of somebody else, not because of something I did. I don't have to go through your emotional premises or your emotional sifting just to prove to you I ain't what you've been through. That, to me, when I talk to people, like right now, I talk to somebody, my conversation was 5 minutes with them. I said, how you doing? Tell me a little bit about yourself. You tell me about yourself. I mean, you asking questions. What are you, my tail? Because I'm bald. Okay. I think, well, it was nice meeting you. You have a nice life.
Yeah. I think that comes into even again, that's what I said earlier. Something like that, whether you dating over 50 or you're under 50, you have to be able to have discernment in the people that you're meeting. You can't be so enamored. And I think that over 50, we're not so enamored with how you look. We're not so enamored with how much money you make, because we making it too. We're not so enamored with, all of the superficial things. But you have to have an ability that's why I think patience is also very important over age 50. You really want to get to know the person, because minute you find that you're dealing with somebody of that, you move on.
I don't mind fighting.
Yeah.
With somebody
that's not healed. So yeah. I don't want to deal with that at any age.
No age. I'm sorry.
Because that's drama.
You want to get like I know a person, very beautiful lady. All she want to do is art. All you want to, listen, I'm sorry you're in a bad financial situation. I'm sorry people hurt you. I'm sorry the things going on in your family, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And why am I
drama free?
Always singing a cadence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. The Lord gonna do this. I'm gonna be this. And I'm like, listen, all I asked you was how your day doing. You want something to eat. But yeah, and come on, man. So
that's somebody I think that suffers from some sort of mental illness.
Hated it.
Which
colors be like, hated
honestly, to be honest, another thing about one of the benefits of dating over 50 is it improves your mental health. You don't have as much anxiety. You don't have as much depression. You don't have as much loneliness. There is some good in dating over 50, because you can quickly find yourself in a very depressive state, nobody to talk to, feeling lonely, and then your mind starts to wander and have paranoia and all this other stuff kind of.
Who that calling my name? Hello.
Yeah, but that is truly scientific. A study from health psychology found that older couples often experience better cardiovascular and immune system health, as well as mental health, due to social support.
And that's true, because I agree with that, because most 50, the benefits are including understanding oneself. Most people at over 50 understand oneself. What you can do is less pressure to conform to societal expectations. This is what we should be, opposed to knowing what we should be. Most people over 50, they're in their career path. They're great financial stability. But people over 50 are in between. They're in between their young years going into their old years. They're right in between 50, a half a century. So they looking for companionship and meaningful connections, and study pre-creation, procreation, and
what's the pre-creation? The foreplay?
Yeah. You know what? Don't start that, don't be there. So yeah, they got great. So you're looking at great self-awareness, you get less pressure, established life, open communication. Yeah. Because people at 50, over 50, pretty much know what don't work. Know what don't work for themselves. Focus on quality and study quality, emotional maturity, greater confidence, and more time for leisure and activities, because most of their kids after 50 is grown.
Yeah.
You may have, I'm 51, my baby boy is 16. So, he'll be 17 in October. So a few more years, he'll be in college. I'm pretty much, but I'm free anyway, because, they come over on weekends.
So they say it's an increased focus on emotional connection when you're dating over 50. The emotional compatibility research shows that people over 50 often prioritize emotional connection, companionship, and shared values over the physical attraction or the reproductive potential, which may be more emphasized at the younger dating. And that's obvious, because we're not trying to have babies and raise families, because like you said, you got a 16-year-old. We've done that at this point. We've raised our families. And then I agree, communication is key. Studies published in journal, there's a Psychology and Aging journal that highlights the importance of open communication, empathy, and trust for long-term relationship satisfaction among older adults.
And that's something which is a two-edged sword, because emotional maturity is so important. That's navigating through life challenges. Individual may develop greater emotional maturity, resilience, and leading to a healthy relationship. Sometimes we learn through mistakes, trials, and tribulations what not to do. Yeah. Because everybody is not a bad person, and everybody has not their problems, and we can't identify them by their problems. You have to be mature enough to be able to be settled. My whole last 3 years is God get me ready to be mature enough to know, in the bad, I'm good with him. In the good, I'm good with him. And anything else that come my way, I'm good with God. And so I'm settled in the fact that I have to go a different way. Somebody that's over 50 and mature enough, no, I may not get her to respond or him to respond the way I want him to respond by doing it this way, but I can get over here this way. One of the things about when we're younger, under 50, we want things our way, and we're trying to get things our way, but at 50, that life can throw you variable change. Mm-hmm. Life can throw you things you've never seen coming, and you had to do away, because there are many times that I had to rob Paul and pay Peter, and I had to go about a different way. That, okay, the way I had it planned didn't go the way I had it planned. Right. Where I had to go this way, even though I didn't see anything this way, I had to go that way, and I ended up in a better place. So I think emotional maturity is the greatest thing for me in dating after 50, because just because I don't do something the way you want me to do it doesn't mean I'm not doing it the way I know how to do it, or I'm doing it wrong. Maybe there's a different way. Because if you're not mostly mature enough to realize that your way is not always the right way, you're not always right, that's when you're going to keep running into the people you want to give you the results you keep getting.
And I want to talk about what you said about the communication, because we sometimes get into our heads, certain things about men. We say men are this way or women are this way. But
Oh, yeah, that's good.
when reality is everybody has their own individuality, and you can think something, but you need to communicate. You need to talk. It's okay to not have it all figured out. You know, sometimes we think men know exactly what they want or women know exactly what they want, when in reality we are confused sometimes, and we don't know what we want, or we know what we want Monday, but on Tuesday we feel, you know, it's something different. And we all have fears and challenges that we face. And you know, that's a part of being vulnerable, you know, and communicating and talking to the person that you meet. And I think people over 50 do a good job with that. I think people over 50, at least the ones that I have come into contact with, tend to communicate openly and honestly. And we have to make sure that we continue to do that, because, you know, it can be scary, you know, starting dating again, you know, after 50, and you know, being single. And one of the other challenges is, in this day and age, you know, things have changed. You know, when you out, you know, you married for 20 years and now you're back out here like, wait, what's going on? Dating app, what? And how, you know, how to download this app? What do you know, technology and online dating, it can be hard to try to overcome, you know, some of those fears.
I'm laughing because a friend of mine is watching the show said to me, the greatest everybody said the greatest thing about dating over 50 is women and men are more bolder, because you know, when it comes to the physical game, what it is. There is no line that can be ran over you. So if you see a lady and she looks good, you could, you know, you together, you like, listen, you know, basically, do you want to be with me? You know, and he just say yes, you know, that, you know, I do. Or just outright ask her, like, yeah, can we do this? You know,
there's definitely a boldness.
Yeah, because because it's like, okay, we ain't kids.
I thought I was that way in my 40s, like, oh, this is just me. Man, in my 50s, I mean, I'm in my early 50s. I just turned 50. I'm 51, but I turned 50, you know, last year. And there is another level
of boldness,
of assurity in who I am, of confidence. I'm unapologetically me, the good, the bad. I'm comfortable with my crazy, the whole nine.
That's like, right. It's like he said you can just say, hey, you know, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's not the reaction. Like when you just think, hey, we grown, we over 50. You want to do this, let's do this. If you don't, you know,
in that sense, you know, I think we are becoming increasingly aware of time.
Okay.
And that's something that stays at the forefront of our minds. Now we are at the age where we are losing our friends. And so, you know, that is causing us to want to maximize the time that we do have. And we want to be happy. We want to have peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want somebody coming there and disrupting that peace, because we know how to show you the door.
Right. And if that's all you want is a physical relation, you know, even though it's not right, just say it. You know, you just want to, okay, we can.
Yeah.
That's if you with that. That's not me. You know, Pastor Corey, that's just saying, but that's how people think.
Yeah.
You know, and they okay with that. I know a lady who has a friend and they don't want a relationship. He don't want a relationship. They just get together, do what they do, go where they go, and see what they see, and that's it. Yeah. You know, and some people are doing that because it's easier. They feel like it's easier, but not to me.
And honestly, that's marriage is not everybody's goal, and especially in this age range. They are looking for, again, these meaningful interactions, these social interactions, but not necessarily looking for marriage.
But you know why though? Because of the pool. Because unfortunately America has a demasculizing of men campaign going on. And then you have a lot of men, unfortunately it's gay. A lot of, you know, you have a lot of people who've been hurt who don't care about people and their feelings and relationships. So, you know, a lot of times people can get what they get. That's why, you know, when you're over 50, you know, and you're a good man, you pretty much a commodity. You're a commodity. You can pretty much.
Any good man is a commodity.
Any good man, but you over 50, it's commodity.
Yeah.
But you know me, everybody knows me that I'm a big advocate for mental health therapy. So I wanted to study what therapists speak or think about dating after 50. And most therapists view dating as 50 as a positive.
Yeah.
But get this, a natural part of life. Encourage the individual to embrace the opportunity to find companionship while acknowledging the unique challenges that may come up, like navigating past relationship baggages, being more selective about potential partners due to life experiences, establishing priorities. They often emphasize the importance of self-awareness, open communication, and patience when it comes to dating later. So their aspects is greater self-knowledge. You know, therapists believe at 50, you have a great self-knowledge. As always, reduce pressure. They're not trying to pressure you into anything because they're good with you. They're better, you know, or better without you, better with you. Either way, they're good. You know, they have life experiences. Only thing that can be the same thing we said, they believe that is one of the greatest challenges is past relationship baggage. Because they don't go to see a therapist first before they get into a relationship. You know, everything has to be preset first. Because if you're sick before you say I do, you're going to be sick or get sicker after you say I do. Again, a smaller dating pool of emotional stable people. You know, and then adjusting to different expectations. One of the things that therapists we have to be true to is that the adjustment of different expectations, navigate potential differences in lifestyle priorities between partners. We have to understand that everyone has an expectation of the next person according to their lifestyle, not according to some kind of selected genre on all men and women. No. You have to choose me according to your lifestyle.
Right.
That is something that people, it don't matter if I'm a good man, if I don't fit your lifestyle, I don't fit you.
Compatibility.
You know, and that's so therapist said you got to look at that. Stop choosing off their potential or what you want to be, but choose them off of your compatibility to your lifestyle you live. You know, you like turkey, and they like pork chops out. Your lifestyle think turkey's been healthy for you. They come on a pork chop sandwich. You got to you know, you can't come to my house on pork. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get it.
But that is something that I want you guys to think about when you're dating. Is stop dating off a person's potential. They could be a good person, but do they fit your lifestyle?
And you were talking about prioritizing. And one of the things that I researched and was, well, not surprised. I wasn't surprised to see this, but it talks about people 50 and over prioritize autonomy. That's good. Their independence. It says many older daters prioritize maintaining personal autonomy, especially if they are financially secure or have adult children. Shared interests and respect for individuality are often more important than traditional markers of success, like marriage. So they're looking for shared interests, or we are looking. Let me throw my hat in the ring. Shared interests and respect for individuality. You know, that's kind of what you were saying earlier. This is me. You're gonna have to take me for me. You're gonna have to love me for me, because we got too much changing. When you hit that 50 and over, we are kind of who we are.
One of the things that people don't do is get into a relationship or prospective mate and accept that person for who they are.
I always, you know, my saying when it comes to men, you can't raise a man twice.
You won't, and
he is who he is when I meet him.
And it's not just that. Some people are farmers. Some people are entrepreneurs. Some people are meant to work. Some people are preachers. Some people are teachers. Some people are singers. Some people are drivers. Some people are seamstresses. Some people are who they are. Problem is, we want to change people into what we want them to be for us instead of choosing. I am an entrepreneur. I am a man of God, but I have a goal that I'm trying to reach, and I need somebody that is an entrepreneur themselves, love God, and that's on a certain level. You know, I cannot be with somebody no matter how good they are, if they're satisfied with working a job.
Yeah.
If they don't want that,
Yeah.
you know, ministry comes with me. My life is called by God. If you don't want any part of the church, you cannot be with my lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when the therapist said when self-reflection, you have to understand your own needs and desire relationship. I cannot ask you for something that God never ordained you to give me, no matter how bad I want you to do it. There are potential spouses that I've met that I think would be phenomenal, but if God didn't tell them to do what I need them to do, they ain't supposed to do it. Or be open to new experiences. Some people are not open to new experiences.
See, I like I'm an entrepreneur, and I work a 9 to 5. I do a lot, but what I'm looking for is that shared interest piece. You don't have to do what I do. If I'm an entrepreneur, for me, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but we have to have some shared interest. I love traveling. Family is huge to me.
Yeah.
I love doing active outside, outdoor activities. I want somebody who, can share that with me.
Climbing mountains, huh?
Like you said, my faith, that's very important to me. So if we can, you don't have to love it the way that I love it, but be willing to try, be willing to, because you want somebody to spend time with. You want somebody who's going to be doing social activities and things with you. So I just need like I said, compatibility is huge.
And then it said that most therapists said communication openly and honestly, be upfront about your expectations, your deal breakers. Mm-hmm. I have deal breakers. Mm-hmm. I have expectations. I have things. And the thing is that to be honest with that, let me tell you what I want. And this is what now that gives you the opportunity to want to get in there, because see, here's the problem. If you take on that and somebody gave you the upfront 911 and you still thought you could get into the house and change it, and then you don't, you're the one. Yeah. There are a lot of people right now mad at people, they did me wrong. No, they told you what they were in the beginning. You didn't want to hear it because you felt like you could change from end. No.
Yeah, the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships noted that older couples tend to have more realistic expectations and better conflict resolution skills. So as a key tip, you do want to have expectations. Make sure that they're realistic expectations that you are having of other people, and that you aren't requiring undue things from a person that just doesn't make sense. Like if the whole thing about time, you can't expect somebody who's working, going to school, taking care of kids, to be able to do everything within the household without having some shared responsibilities. That would be unrealistic. To say, well, you go do all this, but then come home, cook, clean, and and by the way, at the end of the night, we're getting busy. After you just got into bed at 11:30 at night from taking care of all these other responsibilities.
That ready, sugar.
but so that's not realistic. So it's like, we have to think through those things. The
views of Anita L. Smith. I'm just
keeping it real, because you will miss out on a good man or a good woman thinking everything has to be just so. You have to be, my grandmother taught me, you have to give a little to get a little, and that's part of managing those expectations that we have of other people, so we don't talk ourselves out of a good man or a good woman.
And some people, because you know what, the worst thing to see is a man you could have had or a woman you could have had with somebody else doing good, and that could have been you. Revenge. Because listen to me, I've experienced it on the highest level. A young lady in high school who loved me so much stood in front of me and took a bullet in her hand because she seen them shooting. That's how much she loved me. Mm-hmm. And my friend loved her. And I'm like, man, I'm young. I'm in high school. I'm just getting out of high school. I can't deal with love. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to deal with it. He was like, yeah. He's like, break up with her. I'll stand there. But then I realized when I broke up with her and hurt her feelings, he was serious about taking up for her. I'm thinking he just put on a show. No, he ready to fight me for real. We lost our friendship, but then I run into them 10 years later, coming out of the liquor store with my Remy Ma VSOP and orange juice, and I see a cherry color Bentley in front of Kenny Reels right there on 111 in Halston, because her mom lived right around there. I'm like, man, and he come out and he hugged me. I'm like, hey brother, man, you doing well? He said, no. He said, that's her.
We're doing well.
And she come out with a chinchilla coat on with a bag of ribs, and she just waved real low, and he went to his trunk, gave me a basket, some really expensive champagne and a basket. You can tell he had it in his trunk for a while because it had dust on it. Mm-hmm. He said, man, we'll wait 10 years, 7, 8 years to give you this. And he said, thank you for giving me the greatest gift I ever had. She did exactly what she said. She's worth millions. Our office down at the Merchandise Mart. And no, he said she's worth hundreds of millions. We're worth, I'm a husband. And so I'm standing there with the my VSOP orange juice in one hand and the big old basket with the drink in another hand. And I'm standing there. He get in the car and he go pull off, and she stared at me, and that stare looked like it was about 9 years. You know what I mean?
You should say, well, then go on with your little car.
Right. And I'm in a Nissan, a little hatchback.
Your little,
Bentley. I didn't want to get it. I was so I didn't want to go and get in my car while they were still there. I stood there like, man, she gave me a look like, yeah, whatever. That's why it is so important that if you got a good person, you keep them and you don't play games, because here is something that statistics show, and I was watching this, is that you can talk about it, was that most people in bad positions play games with good people. Like I want you to jump through hoops because I'm in this bad situation. When one of the things, when I got on that call and I got on that site and I went back and forth, how many good women who are CEOs and drop dead gorgeous got companies and companies that don't have anybody. Now, the dating pool for successful 50 over people, that successful men are like, it's like a candy store, because the women outweigh the good men. But unfortunately, the successful dating pool for a successful woman is like a prison to her, because her standards are so high, ability is so amazing that she can't go below her standards to reach somebody. So what happens is, when they finally find somebody that's good enough on that level, everybody come at them, because the dating pool is so big. Because first of all, and I got to give women this, especially successful women, entrepreneurs, you can't trust everybody. You work hard to get what you get. Nobody gave it to you. So you can't bring somebody in, and it's scary that you make it so much more than that man, even though he could be a good man. Spirit, even though I say you got to try people by the spirit, because everybody God used, he used when they wasn't in the spot and brought them to the spot. So some people, like a friend of mine said, I met him when I was at the bottom, but I married him when he was on the top. So sometimes you have to go through the journey, but I get that. But for us, it's a kid in candy store, because what that call did and what I said, I realized that there's thousands on top of thousands of beautiful, single, successful women that is praying for a man like me. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at the women that want to play game on a level that I've been on, like, please go.
While we're in a real instance, while we are praying for the man, some men are praying, P-R-E-Y, on us.
Ooh, that's deep. Come on, you start something now.
I'm serious. When you get older, you have some people that want you for what you have, for the material possessions and the money that you're making. And the older you get, the more times, you see this so much about people getting scammed for their money, and people just wanting to date you, for what you have, or take advantage of you. Instead of, instead of that co-partnership, it's like, what can I get?
Men, women too, too.
Yeah. But, you bring up a good point about the gender differences between men and women in dating over 50, because over 50 women are more selective. which again goes back to that dating pool. Sometimes we shorten that dating pool because we're more selective in choosing our partners because we have increased independence and we have financial stability. So
Come on.
but men in this age group tend to seek companionship more so. And believe it or not, women, the men are more willing to commit. So it's not that people out here don't want to be married, don't want to have, or, not commitment doesn't necessarily equal marriage, but, they want something real.
Can we turn that fan on?
Yeah, they want something real. So, it just, and also women, we face ageism a little more. Like men they could be much older than us and get a much younger woman.
Okay.
And women are not as able to do that. Men don't face the ageism in dating that women face. But this can vary. It depends on the person's confidence,
that's deep. Okay.
Their personality, or their approach to dating, which is why I encourage women especially to think about your approach to dating and not having these hard stops. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. You have to have boundaries. You have to have the compatibility, but we need to let go of some of these other things to broaden, the range of, who we date.
And let me just put some stereotypes because there is to me, and it's my opinion, and this is nobody else's opinion. This don't reflect the radio station or anything, but I think there is a campaign to break up the Black families. You always see successful Black men with white women or other race women. You don't see them with their own Black women, and you don't see that. But according to census, 83% of married Black men who earn at least $100,000 a year annually are married to Black women. This is also true for educated men of all incomes. 85% of Black men, college graduates, marry Black women. According to the U.S. Census, married Black men are most Black men. 85% of the Black men are married to Black women. And we think about that. Where now 62% of Black women are single. That is the scary part about it. Is that even with 85% of Black men being married to Black women, you still have 62% of Black women who are single, and that's
a big, huge jump from the past.
And watch this: 50% of Black men in the United States are unpartnered. So the 85% of the Black men that's married is married to Black women, but at the same time, and that's only 45% of the 100%. I want you to think about that. The 55% is unpartnered. So now you got 62% of Black women not married, and you got 55% of Black men are not married. So now that's nearly 48% of the whole entire Black race. Why are our numbers so bad? What do you think? Ooh, that's deep. That's deep.
I don't know. Maybe
I got my theory, but
I just think maybe we've gotten away from tradition, and as the generations have evolved, the thought process of marriage and family and what that family looks like has changed.
Okay.
There's a much more open view of the LGBTQ plus community. So we have a lot more people, choosing to be with same sex, relationships, and that impacts family and growth, and marriage. I think we have, ever since the war, once Black women started entering into the workforce, and making more money, that also affects why, more women are choosing not to be married. Because let's not get it twisted. Even though you have that large percent of African American women not married, you have a large percent of them who don't want to be married, who are choosing to stay single by choice, not and could get a man if they wanted to, but are choosing to stay single. You have more and more women, traveling together, and just more and more things that we do. It's like you don't need, quote unquote, you don't need a man. to do certain things. And so all of this, I think, is impacting.
Where do you think all that comes from? We're going to get, I have my theory.
I don't know. I really don't know. And I wish I had the answers, because I think that is very important for the African-American community to have, households with two-parent households, because unequivocally the statistics for that, to the tune of 80% of girls that grow up in single family households, a lot of them end up promiscuous, dropping out of school, going to jail. It's at a high percentage of teenage parentage without two-parent households. So it's definitely needed in our community. We really need to fix this perception that all men are dogs and all men ain't nothing and all women are selfish and unresponsible, or not willing to take responsibility for their actions. It's just a lot of clickbait. In my opinion, social media plays a big part of having these really false expectations and inflated egos. In a sense, we think too much of ourselves, and it's not in a way of, pride in who you are and in your character and being a good person. It's just this false sense of what success is and what that looks like, and everybody's perpetrating a fraud. Not being who they really are. And so many people, the stuff that you see on social media, you go look at their real life and it's totally different.
Let me read those statistics one more time.
Okay.
Out of 83% of Black men who earn $100,000 annually is married to Black women. Mm-hmm. This is also for educated Black men of all incomes. 85% of Black men who college graduates marry Black women. 85%. Yeah. Now, according to the U.S. Census, 85% of the Black men are married to Black women. But here is the point about that. That means that of the Black women, 62% of those are single, and 55% of the Black men in the United States are unpartnered. That means that out of the 85% that is married to Black women, only 45% of the total. That means that you have 62% of Black women that are not married, and 55% of Black men that's available are not married. And when we look at that now, back in the 70s, for Black women, the percentage for Black women being unmarried was 20%. From the 60s, now it jumped to 62%. That's over half. So now 48% of our entire race is not, only 48% of our entire Black race is married. That means that 52% of our entire Black race, both men and women, are not married. Why do you think so? Let's talk about this. I am going to present a term that you may know. It's a therapeutic term, but let me give you the premise of it. Do you know that most people get more attention as a victim than they do as a healed person?
Yes.
Do you know that most people ministry is based on the things that happen to them, and they have to stay in that pace to keep their base listening to them? That people can't get healed. That the reason why people have such battle cries, because all their life, the only way they got attention was from them being a victim, being a single person, going through stuff, that they have a friend base based on people that will catch them, but they still get attention. Do you know that healed people of God that don't have problems don't have a lot of attention? And a lot of people want to keep that attention, and it's called the validation syndrome. Mm-hmm. This is why many people are single, through the validation syndrome, because they want everybody to know if something happened to them. Yeah. That's why a lot of people don't want to get healing from it, because them letting know that something happened to them keep the attention on them. They keep the attention on them. And eventually that can take a notion. It's the psychological condition that describes someone's excessive need for approval and from affirmation from others. It can be a source of conflict in relationships and can negatively impact the self-esteem and well-being. It is a human desire, that natural desire to accept or fear of isolation. This is what people are afraid of when they stop becoming the victim. Isolation. Another is social conditioning. They're taught that they're worth the length of approval of others. Personal disorders, dependency, personal disorder, borderline, personality disorder may have a need for validation. You look at the symptoms, you feel guilty, overachiever, gain praise, difficult making decisions without input from others, jumping from relationship to relationship, low self-esteem, difficulty controlling behavior. This is what people don't you understand. There are a lot of people who, if they got healed, they would have no more spotlight on them. There are a lot of people who have birth ministries out of pain, who said that, you know what, and that is the reason why relationship, because when you get with somebody, until I went through therapy, and I went to 3.5 years of therapy, and so I got rid of the things that were paining me. All I did was get it with somebody, and we're gonna fight about who got the most validity in the pain we experienced. Not that we're not worried about your ability to grow and my ability to grow and to accomplish. I need you to validate something happened to me. If I have been molested in my life, I need you to validate I've been molested. In every relationship, there was a person that I was in a relationship with, I couldn't touch in a certain manner. That if I touched in a certain manner, she had a flashback.
Yeah.
There was a person that I dated, I couldn't date no more because I shut the door to go use. I said, "Can I use your washroom?" And I just, I didn't want to leave the door open, and I shut the door to go use the washroom, but she started screaming and hollering because her mom used to leave her with a mom's boyfriend, used to take advantage of her. And she started screaming, even though she came to her senses. What if the police came and I got shot, or people heard her screaming like that and beat me, or I had to kill somebody because of that? So it's validation, not to blame her, but it's validation and something happened. This man cheated on me. This man hurted me. This woman did this to me. And so if I don't get healed, I need to be validated in every which way, which causes me to forfeit blessings over and over again. That's a good man. That's a good woman. But they didn't do that to you. But I need them to acknowledge that. And some people will not let you even get near their heart to acknowledge what happened to them. Ooh.
Yeah, and it's tough, because if you have a natural desire for somebody to accept you, and at the same time a fear of isolation, that desire and that fear does not even go together. And it's like it's a constant, never-ending circle of pain.
You know why? Because it becomes your character.
Yeah, but linking who you are. And to someone else, or needing somebody else to validate you as a person, that's, to me, that's one of the things that, as I get older, these are things with, hopefully, I know we have not all, but hopefully a lot of us have dealt with this, because as we get older, some of these are past pains and past situations. But if you still carrying these traumas and fears and strong desire or a need for somebody else to validate your worth, you are not ready to date. You are not ready to date at any age, and a lot of people with ADHD as adults, they were undiagnosed. If you're 50 years old, we weren't talking about ADHD 50 years ago and giving kids Ritalin and all this stuff. This is more even mental health in the African-American community, especially. We are just now normalizing those kinds of conversations. We didn't have those kind of conversations. If you were undiagnosed with ADHD as a child and you now 50 years old, undiagnosed, you know what that looks like? It looks like you can't keep a job. It looks like you're going from woman to woman or man to man. It looks like, you can't focus, and your attention, you start a project and you don't finish. Your home and house is probably a mess, and disorganized. Those play out in real ways as an adult. And as you get, 50 and older, and you're trying to date, but yet and still you haven't dealt with your past, you cannot expect that somebody is going to want to be with you, and that is going to, or if they do want to be with you, that is going to be a successful relationship. You steady wondering, well, why doesn't this work? And why don't they love me? And what's wrong with me? To be honest, it might be a lot wrong with you and you need to fix it. And you need to get some healing.
They said developing strategy to build self-esteem. The one thing to combat that is to practice eternal
Yes.
validation, which is recognizing and appreciating one's own work. Here's the thing. One of the things that pain has done is there is a positive part of pain. And people have not been able to separate the positive aspect of pain from the negative aspects of pain.
Yeah.
Because pain allowed you to survive. That the pain you went through, the hurt you went through allowed you to become a better person. Growing up, dealing with stuff allowed you to appreciate people, to be hungry. What's his name? Shannon Sharp said that they had to go use the washroom outside. That he wanted to buy his mother a big house, his grandmother a big house. That was his motivation. And so every time he caught the ball, he thought about the house he's going to get his mom, everything he did. So there is a positive aspect of pain that we must grasp hold to. But at the same time, we must not let that positive part of pain become our character.
Yeah, you have to use it as fuel to be better. And that internal validation, it takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. There's a reason that they say you have to build your self-esteem. If you think about building a house, it's brick by brick. First you have to dig into the foundation, then, lay the foundation, and then you're going to build your walls, and then you got to do drywall and then flooring. It's a process. And so in building your self-esteem, you got to start thinking about what are the things that I can do to make myself feel good for me. And self-care is a big part of that. You have to find little ways every day where you are validating yourself. And when you hear those negative thoughts or those old feelings and old emotions or those triggers come up, you have to be able to delete that and replace it with something more positive. Certain little things like drinking water, just saying I matter, taking a walk.
Tell the audience what somebody said about you, what you post every day and what you put out every day. Tell them what they said about
you. He mentioned that the work that I do in my social media and stuff and the way that I carry myself he said it's a movement. It's a powerful movement.
Yes,
and what he meant by that was I practice positivity. I practice being aware. I practice telling myself and affirming myself with positive things on a daily basis. So I have a lot of what I call my I ams, and I tell myself I am whatever positive thing that I want to tell myself that I am, and to remind myself. Or, I have what you call another Anita-isms. And these are just spiritual things that God gives me and something that he might just put on my heart or put on my spirit, and I'll share it. And I try to, everything that I do, I work to be authentic. I work to be positive, and I work to put out energy that I have that I feel like can make the world a better place. Because I feel like we need more positive energy. We need more authenticity. We need more people to be encouraging and I'm always cheering for others. Like, we don't have to feel like we have to compete. I don't care if it's I'm a captain. I don't care if it's on our dock, it's tons of captains. Okay. And I'm rooting for them all. And I'll send them business. I don't have to feel like I'm competing with them. Maybe their customers are not my customers. Their clients are not my clients. And I can celebrate them and still do well for myself. So it's a lot of ways that you can work on building your self-esteem and creating a positive environment. Sometimes you got to let people go. To be honest, some people, you got negative people in your life. Any, time you constantly having or consistently having interactions with people that make you feel bad, that's probably a person you don't need in your life. If you constantly are having to explain who you are, or, feel that you're putting a person down, maybe that's not their intention, but this is just the interaction that you two have together. You might need to let that person go. you know, and sometimes, you know, when that happens, you start to feel better because you're creating boundaries and you're sticking to those boundaries, and you will see your self-esteem will begin to grow and build. And you know, again, I'm with Pastor Corey. I believe strongly in therapy and you know, healing. So my spirituality is very important, and so, you know, reading the Word and, you know, putting yourself around, you know, positive messaging, and it all goes into being more self-aware.
And you know, one of the things that validation syndrome does is make us sing a marching song that a lot of times we don't even have a conversation with people, because we know God is a good God. We know God is a great provider. We know we've been through everything, but sometimes a person just want to get to know you, the person. But many people, all they do is sing that I'm going to do this, God's going to do this, and I believe this. And all they do is talk about their problems. And you know why that is? Because people over 50 have to, one of the therapists said, people after 50, they have to let go of their pain, because their pain becomes their character, and they look for constant validation and acknowledgement from their life's experience, and they cannot move forward in new love because of the validation boundaries set from old love and old hurt. Do you know that your boundary creation has to be consistent of boundary growth? That a lot of times our boundaries are set on what will happen to us, because we don't want to let what happened to us happen to us again. So we create certain boundaries, and we talk about that all the time, because you have to be able to love in your problems. You don't offer a warm house. Nobody is going to want to fight with you in a cold house. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You are an amazingly beautiful person, but if all you got is problems to talk about, and I know you intimates, if all your conversations about getting out and it's everything, because one of the things that I listen, I don't care how bad it is for me, I'm going to draw you with love and kindness. I'm going to say a good word to you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to show you emotion. I'm going to show you feelings. I am not going to invite you in a cold house. And this is where some of our people, especially our ladies, that you listen, I'm not saying that what you're going through, what you've been through is not important. What I'm saying is you don't talk about it everywhere, because you don't go to your job and talk about how bad your life is, your problems on to that. Why do everybody that have a conversation with you got to be about what you've been through, or they got to fight with you? I understand you fighting, but you got to show love. And one of the greatest acts of love is Jesus on the cross.
Yeah.
He's being crucified.
And we're not saying that this is the majority of people dating over 50, but even because in this age range, most people in their 50s tend to have very good amount of self-confidence.
Yeah.
But to what we spoke about earlier, is part of dating over 50 is having a lot of empathy. So these are some of the people that you may encounter, and they may have this validation syndrome. And we're talking about it because if you are able to see that within yourself, or if you realize you're dating someone and you come across this, that there's some empathy that is needed, and you need to be able to also recognize what you're dealing with, because again, this might be someone that you don't need to waste time on dating because they aren't ready to date. And if you can understand what validation syndrome is, what the causes are, and you come upon it and you encounter it, then you know how to counteract that. If this is a person, by every other account, is a good match for you, and this is somebody you want to get into a relationship with, then you need to understand some of these tools to help this person, and to understand that it is a lot of self-esteem building that needs to happen here, which should then alter some of your behavior. Because if you're dealing with somebody who has validation syndrome, you have to be very careful that you're not putting them down, that you're not being negative towards them, that you're leading from a place of positivity, and that you have more patience in that relationship.
But you have to understand that people that have validation syndrome, they jump from relationship to relationship, and they have difficulty controlling their behavior, because one of the main factors is that a changed behavior changes how people view you and see you.
Yeah.
People like there is a friend. Well, she's a friend of Facebook on Facebook, but she hate men, especially black men, black girl, black lady, and she does these broadcasts, and everybody go in on her, and whoever hurt her, but she go in. She talks about how bad black men is. She talks about how bad this, and she goes in. The thing is that she's never given another person, black man, a try because she knows if she does, it'll take away from all the people that's listening to her. That when we look about difficult controlling our behavior, because most people want some type of response that people are fighting. Because here's the thing about another part of validation syndrome that people don't want is that a lot of people don't want to be in a relationship settled down. They just want the potential of the chase. They just want the attention from the chase. There are people like that.
I think you can find that more with women than with the men.
I don't want to date you, but take me to the best restaurant. I don't want to be your man or your woman. I don't want to be all this. But do this for me, do that for me. Because a lot of people, they need the attention. Some people just won't sit down and get to know you, talk on the phone because they need the attention. Because again, they need to be validated that something happened to me. That's the whole thing about validation. They are, and if there's no resolve for it, keep acknowledging it. Acknowledge it.
And this goes deep because you have to understand if you're dealing with somebody with validation syndrome, they are literally getting their value and their worth from what you assign.
Oh, that's good.
What you appoint.
Oh, that's good.
Because they don't have it on their own. So
that's good.
What you tell them who they are and what you think of them is very, very, very important when you're dealing with somebody with validation syndrome, which is why this is not somebody you want to play around with. Because if you are not holding them up at a high level or a high standard, or you're pointing out wrongs or being nitpicky and constantly quarreling, remember, this is somebody who has a hard time controlling their behavior. So you may quickly find yourself in a position where you are in a dangerous situation or in a violent situation.
I didn't even want to go there. I'm glad you went there. Go ahead, take that from there.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's not that it would be your fault by any means. Everybody's responsible for themselves, but at the same time, you have to be able to recognize this because those are some of the conversations and things. Once you see a person is getting to a certain point, you have to back away from that.
Everybody want to be validated.
Yeah.
And that's why my last point on this show is no one likes anything. No one likes anything the same. One of the things that we have to understand is dating at 50, that even at our age, even at our established success, even as our spiritual maturity, even in our mental fortitude that's solid, change is required for love. We're never going to have a love relationship 100% the way we want it. We're never going to make somebody be exactly what we want them to be, because they cannot be what God never ordained. One of the things that dating after 50, and that's my last point on it, is so many people want things the way they want them because the way they have it now is the way they're able to prosper in or be successful in. And the way that they had to live, be, or whatever they had to go got them to this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's a great chance of changing that will save that point or will not validate that. But people don't want to change. And it's hard to change after 50, especially when you have established a life. Because let's be real, I found this out to be true, is I'm better and successful single than I was, but then I had to be honest about my choices. I always chose down. I never chose up, nor did I choose according to my standard of life. I chose according to their appearance in life. So, and what they could do in life, never by what I am in life, because I am a person that is a great communicator, but I communicate better with working opposed to just talking. Well, you have somebody may be a better talker than do that. You know what I mean? Let's do that. Or I'm not a hooping and hollering preacher like some people. I jump around, do splits all over the church. No, that's not me. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So you have to change. If you don't want to come out of your comfort zone, you don't want to stop doing, you don't want to change to receive what God has for you or change, then guess what? What you get in your comfort zone is what you're going to keep in your comfort zone.
Yeah. And it's not about changing who you are as a person. We're just talking about you have to be willing to do things differently. Because if you do the same things, you get the same results. And if you're dating and you're having a difficult time or it's not successful and you're continuing to do the exact same things and you're running up against the exact same walls, that is the literal definition of insanity. We have to step outside of ourselves and step outside of our comfort zones. I don't watch much television. I haven't watched much television for years, but there are certain little programs that I watch. And one of my favorite shows is The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette.
Okay.
And it's all about having those second chances in dating, in relationships. And I really enjoy watching that show because it helps you to realize, one, that because you're getting older doesn't mean you aren't worthy of love. Doesn't mean that your time has passed, and that, they find some very good connections on the show. They find very good friendships. And sometimes even when a relationship over 50 doesn't work, you tend to end up still being friends. So one of the things that I want people to know, if you're on the fence and you're not dating or you aren't sure or you're not having very successful time dating over 50, to understand that there is longevity of second chance relationships and that it's a high success rate. Second marriages and partnerships formed later in life often experience high satisfaction. And the study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships said that older couples tend to have more realistic expectations, better conflict resolution skills compared to their younger counterparts. So the opportunity is there. You don't have to. And one of my concerns was I don't want to grow old alone. I don't want to be alone. When I get up in age, I want to have a partner there with me. And I'm glad to know through my research and reading the different journals and psychology reports that they all report a very high success rate, which is something very different than what I had heard in the past. You always hear that the second marriage or the third marriage ends, and there's a high percentage of it ending. But we aren't, again, always talking about marriage either. We're talking about successful connections, great social interactions. We're talking about, compatible and meaningful and deep relationships. And you could absolutely have that after 50.
One of the things that people don't understand, there's no such thing as second and third marriages. You were never married, even though you just had an agreement with somebody that was in writing. Because if God didn't put it together, God doesn't honor it. This is what most people don't think. That's why he said, let what God put together, let no man put under. People, they think, well, I've been married 4 or 5 times. No, you haven't. When God blesses you with the one you've been married with, you with now, I don't have patience for dating now. I really don't. I mean, there are a lot of, people, there are a lot of potential, but now, when I got on that site and someone I'm talking to now, this person is not the person I thought I would marry. But logically thinking, I won't find better. And the reason why I say that is because this is the person, I'm not saying she's not a beautiful lady, not saying she's not successful. But this is a person where I can be totally 100% peace and vulnerable, and she can too. And that's beautiful. Her response is, nah, we just friends and we just get to know you. I have no commitment, no nothing. Because again, I'm still single. I'm single, but I had an idea of who and what I wanted to marry and who I want to marry. But when you get older at 51, you start looking at the logic of people. Like listen, is this person too valuable for me to look over because I'm holding out for something else. And her logic to me was, listen, it's not always about physical sometimes. It's not always about, spiritual or mental. Sometimes compatibility can mean a lot. You got to get into your logic, because how many emotional decisions you made that ended up rotten, or how many physical decisions you end up, rotten, because there's a transfer. When you intimate with somebody, there's a transfer of spirits. There's a transfer of, there's an impartation. But a lot of people don't get that. So, I'm open to hear what she has to say. And I'm open to go where, what it is. And if that's what it is, it won't just be logical. It's a logic decision, because who wants to go to a place where there is no peace?
Yeah. I need to have it all.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to settle. I truly believe that. And I've been saying this for years. Relationships start with compatibility. It's not going to go anywhere and have longevity and happiness associated with that, or where you can really truly get to experience the joy of deep love if you don't like the person. And if you're not compatible, then I think it can definitely lead to that. So I feel like when you first meet a person, step one, start asking yourself, am I compatible with this person? And to get to that answer, you have to start to learn more about the person. Take your time, ask the right questions right away. And I think over 50, I don't think we're afraid to do that.
No,
I don't think we're afraid to ask the questions, because this is just straight up like boom. We know what we want. We know what we're looking for. We've had past experiences. We've had the good, the bad, the false starts, the hurts, and that we didn't really talk about today a lot on this show. But a lot of people that I have talked to, they've been hurt dating at 50, because they were so open and they wanted the love and the commitment, and they really want to have companionship. And then there's this this thing of people not really being who they say they are, and presenting themselves one way, and then once they get down the line, they find out that's not what it was at all. And so a lot of people are being hurt. So I really feel like this is a very precious time.
Yes.
And that we have to live life big, but take your time. Don't rush it. And I don't know what that might look different for every person. But get to know who that person is and see if they are compatible. Make sure you are ready. I've been single and have stayed single for a couple of years. And I am just now at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And even then, that I've already done the work on me, even prior to making the decision to be single for these last couple of years. For me, it's been this last couple of years have just truly, honestly been about self-discovery. And I've just learned so much about myself and what I'm capable of and who I truly am, and been able to take full ownership of that. Again, unapologetically. So I'm thankful for that time, and I'm ready. And I'm hoping that some of this, research and talking about this openly, will help, put me, down that path, because it can be scary. It can be scary to open up your heart. And
for me, at 51, dating is more logical for me than
emotional.
Mm-hmm. That is something, because I can love someone that I can't grow with, or I can love somebody and be broke.
Do you think you can't have it all?
I think I can have it all.
You can have.
I think I can have
emotional connection along with somebody that logically makes sense and is compatible.
I think love would have to come in the process of growing for me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not, because at 50 we have to think about stability. We have to think about what's good, because okay, you love somebody, but you still have to deal with their character. You still got to manage money together. You still have to family, children. Yeah. They have children. You got to be a part of their children's life. They got to be a part of your children's life. They're also your bounce back. How do people deal with conflict resolution? Then it's the aspect of growing old. It's an aspect of um, um, ministry. There are so many different aspects because some people are wonderful people, but don't make sense for your life.
Yeah. Another thing I just thought about as you were saying that something different that we experienced dating after 50. When we were younger dating, I remember having some, the man or that I'm dating having to come meet my father.
Mm.
And that was a trip, because you had to come with it to stand in front of my father or mother. So even in today's time now, dating over 50, it looks different because we aren't meeting the parents as much anymore as we're meeting their adult children.
That's right.
We're meeting their children and their families, and there's grandchildren involved, and so that's a whole nother dynamic that we have to navigate with the blended families.
Yeah, and so that's why I told when I think about dating over 50, yes, I want somebody who's beautiful, I want somebody who's compatible, but most important for me, I want somebody that I can grow with, not just spiritually, but mentally, physically. I need somebody that I can evolve up to, opposed to dissolve from. Say that again, somebody that I can evolve up to. And so my choices have always come empty because I chose on looks. I chose on what I wanted, and I chose on the position I was in life. Right now, being in a good position and doing what God says, now I choose on where God is taking me, but I ask God to show me who to be with and what to do, because I need your validation, God. I need so that now things have changed, but I understand that I have to be logical with my choices. I can't, because emotional choices will keep you in an emotional roller coaster. I need somebody that's got as much like what's her name said, never bite somebody in your house that don't have nothing to lose, because they don't mind tearing up what you got. And so I have to make sure that I got somebody that's got something to lose and we're working together, because after the dialogue, what is built?
Yeah. I think my expectations are different now because, I am a person who comes from marriage, and divorced. And so I have been in relationship, committed relations for a long time, so now being single and dating looks different for me, because prior to being married, I think I was more, I would just see the good in a person. Whether they were there or where they needed to be or what I needed from them, I would see the potential in that person. And I would be kind of charged with helping them to grow and be the best. But at that time, I was much younger and I was still growing.
Wow.
But the energy that I needed to heal myself or make myself better, and I was putting into someone else, and trying to build up with the potential that I saw, where it might not have been the best match at that time, and the energy that it took from me, it was very much sacrificial,
Wow.
So, but now that I'm dating at an older age, that expectation is way different, because now the expectation is that you are already there. I really, you hear this a lot, but I wholeheartedly agree with it. I can't do a project. If you need to already be who you say you are, and you need to already be the type of man that I'm looking for. I'm not asking anybody now at this point to change or do whatever. I want to accept you for exactly who you are, and I want to be able to look at the person exactly who they are and say, is that what I need? Is that the type of person for me? And can I do I have whatever I see that they may need to grow, and do they have what to help me what I need to continue to grow?
Yeah, because we got to look at logic, because is the dating pool big enough to find exactly what we want?
I am definitely under the belief that absolutely. I thank God that I'm not scorned. I thank God that I am 51 years old and I still have the faith of a little kid, because I do believe I can have it all, and I'm not settling. I'm going to have exactly, what I want, and I know exactly what I want is out there, and I will not believe that what I'm looking for is so difficult or so challenging that it's just, will elude me. No.
And that's why I said I don't date out of emotion because there are certain things that I need and I'm looking for. Just to let you guys know, next week we will finish part 2. I need to know part 2 of the show we had with everybody, the guys of we did about the 12 signs of God. We did the first 6 in Revelation. We're gonna do the last 6. So my beautiful co-host has a day off. We have all those men back to talk about it but they're prepared this time because they weren't prepared the first time, but they prepared for the last 6. But you want to give a last word on the show?
I just want to encourage people to know that if you're dating over 50, I just want to reiterate that, there is hope out here, for us, and that it could be very, very successful. And you don't have to settle, there needs to be some evolving priorities, and we need to look at our emotional maturity and realistic expectations. But love is here for us. You're still beautiful, more so than ever, especially these women out here. They're killing the game. You're sexy. You're dope. You're successful. You're powerful. You're force. And to the men out here, it's like, keep doing what you're doing. I see so many beautiful people working in the community, working to make the world a better place, and they really care and they want someone to have that deep connection with, and you can absolutely have it. Just don't get in your own way.
That's beautiful. I love it. My last thoughts is this: make sure what you want line up with what God has for you. That I have a bunch of things that I want in life out of a person, but God has somebody that's tailor-made for me for where He's taking me. And so I need to line up with His will, because many of us ask God for what we want, but we don't seek the kingdom of God first. So we'll know what He wants for us. And then we're disappointed when we don't get it. At 51, my dating is more logical, because me being with you has to make sense, because I can love any woman and I can be with anybody. It's not that the dating pool is bad for me. And it's not that that people don't want to be with me. That's not it. But I want marriage, I want longevity, and I want to build with somebody to leave not just my kids, but her kids and family members an inheritance. I want to break generational curses while leaving them in abundance. So when I'm not here, I know they're taken care of. But I want that to line up with God's word, God's will for what He has for my life. We have to stop trying to push our agenda on God's agenda. We have a life, and we had to create a life by what we did, but God has the ultimate yes and no. And sometimes we have to be able to receive what we ask for. It's not going to come the way we want it all the time. It's not going to come how we want it. And sometimes we have to change to get it. But we have to be open in our spirit to listen to God and say, go this way. Because if we keep going this way and God says, you're going this way, the Bible says He'll relieve us of Him and deliver it to ourselves. Meaning that He'll let you have what you want, but don't look for Him to save you in it. Yeah. You want to go this way. You got to think about it. Because remember, Saul was trying to help David defeat Goliath. David was like, I don't need your help. I don't need that iron. I know what God did for me. You're afraid of Goliath. I already beat people worse than Goliath. I beat animals. So, my thing is that follow God and what God wants you to do.
As a Christian man and as a Christian woman, I love that, what you just said, because sometimes we do forget to seek God. I know everybody here is not a believer, even though we are on WVTC Gospel radio station. Everybody isn't necessarily a believer, but I love the fact that we have to seek God, and we cannot expect God to bend to our will. We have to yield to His. And so sometimes we can get in our own way, and what God has for us and what we want, we don't see it, or but we continue to stay prayerful, continue to invite Him in to the conversation, and get the answers that we need.
So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, be your own rescue. I want to thank my beautiful co-host, Miss Anita L. Smith, for her brilliant mind and for being my co-host. It's a great honor. I take none of it for granted. I know you guys have been blessed by this show. Please like, love, and share it. Remember, you are important. Love you guys. See you guys next week.
Take care.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, and iNetworks Communication Station.